Hey guys! So today I wanted to talk about The Hangover Part 3. The Wolf Pack Journey Ends. Tears. No. Um so I saw it on Wednesday and I thought it was okay. I thought the movie itself was okay, but what I wanted to talk about instead of just doing like a play-by-play of the plot and what happened was a character analysis, if you will, of the characters, because I feel like each character in this film went through a transformation, if you will, and I found it to be really, really interesting. And so I figured that would be a fun thing to do instead of just boring you with like a 10-minute video about me talking about this film and the ins and outs of it, because I feel like you've all probably seen it already, so there's no need for me to do this. So first we have Phil, played by Bradley Cooper. I think that Phil's character throughout the three films has gone through some sort of a metamorphosis, if you will. In the first film, he's portrayed as kind of immature. He was portrayed as this guy who sort of hates his life. He hates that he's, married and has a kid and is settled down and, has this menial job as a school teacher and everything. And he's just all about partying and having a good time and, just, living life, without responsibilities. So, and in the second film, he, I feel like he got a little more responsible. He had to kind of be like the leader of the group because, Stu's freaking out and Alan's just Alan and he can't really do a whole lot. So I feel like, in the second film, he kind of took on that leadership role and where he tried to go step by step to try to solve the dilemma of where Teddy was and how to find him and how to work together in order to get to where they needed to go, and while still being obnoxious and funny at the same time, of course. And then in this film, I feel like he was definitely I think he really matured. He really peaked in this film, I think. I feel like throughout the two films, he, started to take on that leadership role. And then in the third film, it really kind of was etched in stone that he was, in fact, like the leader. He, in fact, was taking responsibility. And he was going to lead everybody to do what they had to, do in order to, find Chow and save Doug. And it was really nice to see that while they had changed, they still didn't lose the core of who the character was. And to me, that's what I like about these films, is if you can do that, then to me, you've done a good job. So, kudos. So now we have Stu. So in the beginning, Stu started off as this very kind of conservative, very, oh my gosh, like, I don't want to say by the book, but he really didn't rebel too much. He was kind of very straightforward, just straight shooter, very, like, I'm going to do things by, the rules, and I'm going to follow them, and I'm not going to step outside the lines, and I'm going to make sure that everything is okay. And then as, like, the films progressed, he broke out of that, and he was out of control, and he wasn't necessarily, in control, and he lost his cool a lot of the time, and he started freaking out and screaming and like, what's going on? And, and it was just really funny to see because, he says in the second film that when he gets that he has this demon inside of him, and when he gets really crazy, it comes out, and he has this whole other personality. And I feel like when he's, when they have that, when they hangover scene, I guess, he is finally able to let go of all the expectations that are on him, and he can just be, wild and crazy and not care, which I think we all can relate to that. We all have to behave a certain way and feel like we have to act a certain way. And then there comes a point where eventually it's all going to come to a head. And for me, I feel like Stu has always felt that he has to be put together all the time. But when he's drunk, his body and his mind and his heart and everything say, you're allowed to let go now. It's okay. Like, you're allowed to go a little crazy and the world's not going to end. And I was kind of happy that, like, throughout they sort of kept that theme going. And especially if you look at the scene after, if you say that for the scene after the end credits, you'll know what I'm talking about. Good gracious, Todd Phillips, you are too funny. And of course we have Alan. Alan is Alan's hysterical. Alan is just Alan. I feel like, in the first two films, Alan was kind of like the toddler that just followed along with everybody. He really didn't have a clear voice. He really didn't have a clear role in the group, other than he was just sort of there, and everything that happened was sort of because of him. And and in this film, I feel like he finally grew up a little bit. Like, he finally stopped playing around. He met a girl, he got married, and he's finally, like, learning, and he, with the whole Chow thing, he finally learned that Chow isn't necessarily a good person, and maybe he shouldn't be friends with him. And I think that Alan grew up a little bit in this movie. So, I was very, I don't want to say I was surprised. I was more like, kind of like awestruck. I was like, okay. Like, I'm happy that he's finally growing up and he's moving on and he's learning to live his own life without depending so much on other people. And then you have Doug, who was just always responsible. He was always very put together. But poor Doug always gets either kidnapped or this or that, the other thing, and it's like, poor Doug. This kid needs a break. So I was kind of happy, at least in the second film, they gave him a little bit of a break so he wouldn't, like, lose his mind. But then he is sort of the brains of the operation, I feel like. He's kind of like the man behind the curtain. He's like the wizard. He just, like, always knows what's going on. And, who else? And that's basically it. That I feel like, for me, that it was an interesting close to a very popular franchise. I'm sad that it's over, but I'm happy it's ending. I feel like it is time to let The Hangover go, and to hopefully, if they come out with another film like that they won't keep making sequels, that they'll just leave it at the one, and they'll, keep it the way that it was, or if they are, at least keep it as authentic as you can and authentic to the story. And I will say that I do feel like that The Hangover did do that. I feel like it was always very authentic. However, sometimes in the ways they went about it was a little weird, but at the same time it was, pretty good. So those are my thoughts on the movie. Let me know in the comments if you saw it. What did you think about it? Did you think the characters went through a transformation? Did you think they stayed exactly the same? Did you think that it was very, weird that they didn't have a big hangover thing, that they were actually sober throughout the film? So let me know your thoughts, and I will see you next time. Someday, same place, different place maybe, switch it up. And I hope you have a great weekend, and I will see you on the flip side. Yes.